All right. Hi, everyone. When you receive this, it should be March 30th, I hope. We've had a few, whoops, see, things are going crazy already. We've had a lot of information as of the time, at the time of this recording. And I thought that I would do a little review video. I only have 15 minutes with this recording, and I figured that would be enough time to kind of go over Unit 1, Part 1, and Part 2. The notes are linked on the slides that have probably been sent to you by this point. Again, this is a few days ahead of time. So it'll be located, I think, on the day 2 stuff, but I wanted to review and go over a few things with you guys. So hopefully this is my first time using this. So, whoops, see, I've got the wrong thing. All right, so this was our Unit 1, Part 1. This was before the project. So let's start here with what is economics. Remember, we kind of talked about it's how people make choices to satisfy their wants. It's study of people and their choices, right? Like Crash Course says. And I just, I really don't have anything to add to that. But basically, this decision making helps define our lives. And we'll talk about more about decisions in just a second. So let me hit next. And I know I don't have it on the big screen right now. And the reason for that is you do have access to these notes. So if you need to, you can check them out. Scarcity and shortages. We are definitely living this slide right now. So scarcity is the condition that results, as you can see from bullet 2, from society not having enough resources to produce all the things that people would like to have. And shortages are when producers will not or cannot offer goods and services at current prices. Right now we are having the famous toilet paper shortage. I'm hoping by the time you guys see this, that will be fixed, I hope. I don't know what's going to be happening in the next 10 days. Today's the 20th. You guys should be seeing this the 30th. So we'll find out. Travel in time to find out. But that's because we have the panic buying. So I sent you guys, on the 20th, an article talking about the psychology of scarcity and scarcity buying, or the buying and causing these shortages. And it's so that people feel control over their lives when they don't have control, right? Remember, psychology and economics goes hand in hand. Unfortunately, it is creating an overall scarcity of toilet paper. But keep in mind, scarcity is in the long run. Shortages are in the short term. And as of right now, according to the president's speech today, the Procter & Gamble, all those people who make toilet paper, I guess, they are churning out toilet paper quite a bit. So hopefully, I'm going to guess in the next 10 days that'll be fixed, unless something changes. Here's the good and services continuum. Remember, take out that made-to-measure clothing, but you have goods and you have services, right? Goods are things, it used to be the old definition, things you can hold. Services are things that you provide for other people. So teaching is a service, right? Goods is pretty much anything you can, this word gets blurry, obviously, in the yellow. But anything that is you can hold or own or possess, I guess, so to speak. But there is that blurred line, right? Y'all made fun of the song in class. I remember that. So you have restaurants, right, where they serve goods and they provide service. And we talked about like the new Teslas coming out, the self-driving cars, and then obviously the ultimate blurred line, the computer that I'm using and your smartphones that you're probably using right now. Remember that Tenstoppel means there's no such thing as a free lunch, right? So nothing at all is free, right? We're going to move on. That one I felt like we hammered out a lot. Needs and wants, again, very relevant for our times. Needs are basic requirements for survival: air, food, water, shelter. And that's kind of the bottom. We'll go ahead and move on for time of Maslow's pyramid, as you can see. Everything else is a want, right? A way of expressing the need. And yes, some wants are more important than others, but technically, the only ones that are in need are the bottom. And remember, Maslow and a lot of psychologists view this as, this is everybody, that all of this is needs, but economists view only the bottom tier, the red tier, as a need. So let's move on. 3 questions. What to produce, how to produce, and for who to produce it. So this is kind of the questions that entrepreneurs, the government has to figure out. So right now our government is definitely figuring out, is using 3 questions. So as of March 20th, I know you guys will see this March 30th, they're mass producing, oh my gosh, I just forgot what it's called. I want to say ventilators. It's the breathing apparatuses. We'll just call them breathing apparatuses right now. It's technically not wrong to say. So they're putting a lot of effort, right, because there's going to be a shortage of that. Medical equipment, right? So we are diverting funds. It's kind of crazy because this goes into Unit 2 stuff, which hopefully we'll get started with that soon. But funds are being diverted to go into the medical sector quite a bit. How to produce it? Yeah, how are we mass producing? I've seen everything from they're asking private companies to help mass produce this equipment, all the way to even 3D printers. People with 3D print designs are asked to help build respirators. I think that's what they're called, sorry. So pretty fascinating, or at least the parts for the respirators. They're asking the public. So we are in a very unique time. We're all in this together, right? And for who to produce, obviously it's for everyone who needs it. So people who are sick with the COVID virus, or anyone. Respirators are not just for people who are sick with coronavirus, people who have other issues like flu, anything that has breathing problems, you need that. All right, factors of production. You guys did a project on this, so you guys should be good. Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. I'm going to go through these quick. Land is your natural resources. Labor is is the effort that a person is paid for, right? What you do on your job. Capital, there's physical and human. Physical is man-made objects to create other goods. Yes, money can go under physical capital too. Human capital is the skills and knowledge. So my education is is my human capital to help serve you guys and give you guys an education, right? And then entrepreneurship, they're the people who take the risk to develop original ideas, start businesses, create new growth, right? And remember that 30% of all entrepreneurs do fail in their first year. Unfortunately, you are seeing this locally quite a bit because a lot of these small businesses cannot handle being shut down. I'm going to move on. You can look at that later. We talked about scarcity. Trade-offs. Remember your alternative decisions, right? Should I buy... You know what? I'm going to change this in front of y'all so y'all can actually see it. 3 months of Spotify. Okay. So those are your alternative choices. Should I go out today and risk coronavirus, or should I stay indoors? You should stay indoors. Even if you guys don't get sick, you can carry it. And opportunity cost. What do we miss out on? So you guys are learning a lot about opportunity cost right now because you're forced to be at home with your families, right? And I remember being your age, that's kind of rough. So I do feel for you. Then you're missing out on a lot of social time. So that would be an example of opportunity cost. We'll talk about production possibility frontier in just a second. Guns or butter. Remember, that's military spending or civilian spending. So guns represent military butter represents civilian. Let's move on. Oh, your cost of your idle resources. So right now you're seeing we're trying to employ all of our resources now. But whatever you're not using, actually, you're not being efficient and effective to the fullest detail, right? So it's important that we engage and we're effective as possible. Economic growth, the output at any given time. You always want the production possibilities frontier curve to shift outwards, which is to the right. I believe we skipped that in class. We already talked about guns and butter. Let me just delete that slide. I'm going to delete that one. You know what? I need to reorganize these. Okay, yeah, this is the Karen decision-making grid. So enjoy more sleep, wake up early to study, right? Her decision to sleep in means that she'll have more rest, which is on this side, but she's going to have, oops, it's on this side, and she's going to have a bad grade on the other end. If she wakes up early, she gets a good grade, but she's going to be really tired. And thinking on the margin, we're at the margin. So she's made a decision, now she has to figure out how much more or less you're doing. So, right, 1 extra hour gets her a C, 2 is a B, 3 B+. And what's happening here is you're diminishing marginal return. Or, sorry, yes, yeah. So, quiz. GDP is our gross domestic product, the dollar value of final goods and services within a country's borders. Yep. Moving on. I think I skipped that for you guys. Oh, one problem with economic graphs, they omit factors. So the problem is, in the future, economists are going to be looking at these graphs, and they're going to be like, why is there a huge dip in sales between March to June, or whatever, how long this is going to be, right? Well, it doesn't say, hey, coronavirus is happening, or mandatory stay-at-home, or whatever is happening. So keep that in mind. All right, so how do we make decisions? We use the production possibilities curve, right? And this is the watermelon and shoe curve. It's kind of weird. So this farmer wants to make watermelons or shoes, right? So if they want to make both, it tells you at what point, what do you have to give up to make a certain amount of the other. So it starts off with 0 watermelon, 15 million pairs of shoes, and then, okay, I want to make 8 million tons of watermelon. That drops down to 14 million pairs of shoes. You can't have it all, right? Because your resources have to go both ways, right? 14 million tons all the way down to 21 million. By the time you get to 21 million tons, there's 0 resources that you can put for shoes. You want to be on that line, right? You don't want to be underneath the line, because that is the point of underutilization that you can see here. So that means you're using fewer resources as an economy, business, or whatever entity that's using this. Growth, 2 things that really encourage growth is technology improving and more resources becoming available, right? So for the medical sector, we're trying to free up resources for the respirators, right? And they're hoping to grow that. I don't think you guys need that. I don't think you need that. There's the utility, right? The usefulness or satisfaction you receive from an item. Marginal utility is total utility that results from 1 unit increase. But what happens is diminishing marginal utility usually interferes with this, right? And that is going to cut in. So that's a lemonade example. So the first glass of lemonade you have, right, is so good. Let's say it's hot day, right? You've been mowing the lawn. The second one, it's all right, but it's not as good as the first. And then the third is just going to make you sick. Well, my time's about to get cut off. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this and start with the second one.